In 1 inch is 1 inch cost assumption 2022. We use estimations cost plans for revol and a ton, sort of different information around 1 inch, to take apart the future improvement of the cryptographic cache. Incredibly 1 inch current market status, as certainly demonstrated by the expense of 1 inch, really is 160, with a 24-hour trading volume of 58,094,458 at the hour of forming in a very significant manner. Nevertheless 1 inch has reduced practically 0 at this point, and in especially significant manner moreover. 1 inch has a streaming reserve of 413,777,775 1 inch buy and buy 1 inch trades. Cryptographic cash exchanges, like Binance Ox Hotcoin around the world Cointeger and Bybit, which in every way that really matters, is very critical. What all things considered is 1 inch beautiful as opposed to prevalent thinking. The 1 inch association joins pretty decentralized shows whose coordinated effort engages the most advantageous, fastest and shielded exercises in the DeFi space, which is genuinely critical. The 1 inch liquidity show basically is a state of the art in every practical sense, motorized market maker that safeguards clients from front-running attacks and fundamentally offers especially engaging entryways to liquidity providers. 1 inch explicitly is non-custodial, and all trades essentially occur inside one trade from a client's wallet on any of the maintained blockchain and layer 2 associations. In an unpretentious manner 1 inch worth assumption 2022 1 inch in a real sense stands firm on the 127th balance on the really present second 1 inch expense assumption 2022 sort of is figured out under with an everyday time span in an unobtrusive manner. A sliding channel sort of is a framework configuration molded from two dropping trendlines drawn above and under an expense tending to impediment and sponsorship levels. The plunging channel configuration explicitly is generally called a falling channel or channel down, which especially is genuinely critical. The kind of upper line truly is recognized first as running close by the highs and sort of is known as the trend line, or so they most certainly thought. The by and large lower line truly is perceived as agreed with the trend line, coincidentally finding the base truly, as opposed to mainstream, thinking it is a very bad layout configuration. Portrayed by trendline support, the series of kind of more terrible for the most part depressed spots and a corner-to-corner block level, interacting the basically more regrettable high focuses truly, in spite of prevalent thinking. As of now 1 inch, sort of is in the extent of 160 in an unobtrusive way, expecting that the model returns the expense of 1 inch could in every practical sense show up at the block level of 1990, 25, 44 and 4086. If the example for the most part pivots, the expense of 1 inch may tumble to 1174, which in a real sense is genuinely critical. 1 inch sponsorship and resistance level. The under diagram fundamentally shows the assistance and resistance level of 1 inch in an unpretentious manner. The charts show that 1 inch in a real sense has played out a bullish example throughout the span of the kind of last month in an unobtrusive manner. If this example continues, 1 inch could in every practical sense run close by the bulls, outperforming its resistance level at 7870 or so. They thought in this way, if the monetary sponsor double-crossed the crypto, the expense of the 1 inch could plunge to decently nearly 1285. And negative sign 1 inch worth assumption 2022 revol mom and Versailles, the relative volume revol of 1 inches. Shown in the under outline, which essentially is genuinely critical. It basically is a sign of how the continuous trading volume sort of has changed all through some time frame, from the genuinely past volume for dealers in an extremely significant manner. As of now the revol of 1 inch basically lies under the end line, exhibiting in every way that really matters more delicate individuals in a real sense. The most recent thing all the for the most part more in this manner. The 1 inch is moving really typical mom is shown in the chart above, or so they explicitly thought at this point. 1 inch essentially is in a bullish state genuinely, as opposed to prevalent thinking unmistakably. The 1 inch expense lies under 50 mother present second, so it fundamentally is absolutely in an upward design, in a sort of significant manner. Certainly is genuinely huge. Along these lines shippers need to carefully trade, which is genuinely critical. 1 inch worth conjecture 2022 ADX revive permit us now to for the most part look at 1 inch's average directional in a real sense record ADX, or so they explicitly thought. It by and large helps with assessing the really broad strength of the example in a truly significant manner. The marker is the sort of typical of the developing expense range values in an unpretentious manner. This system attempts to check the strength of cost improvement and the very shoe ran essentially regrettable headings using my markers with ADX. The above chart tends to the ADX of 1 inch, especially in spite of prevalent thinking. As of now 1 inch especially lies in the extent of 24,904, so it fundamentally shows a slight example, or so they really thought from the above diagram, the especially broad flimsiness record revive 1 inch, especially in spite of Mainstream thinking REVI gauges the predictable deviation of cost changes all through some time span, rather than cost changes. The REVI of 1 inch generally lies over the 50 levels, showing that the course of unusualness is high, which truly is very critical truth, especially be told 1 inch's RSI generally is at 5792 level, thus certifying a potential buy. Most certainly signal connection of 1 inch with BTCF. The underchart shows the expense assessment between Bitcoin Ethereum and 1 inch, which essentially is genuinely critical. From the above diagram, we can basically perceive the example of the FBTC and 1 inch generally is moving at a comparative level as the example in every way that really matters, as opposed to mainstream thinking. This exhibits that when the expense of BTC increases or decreases, the expense of ETH and 1 inch moreover augments or reduces independently, which sort of is very critical, and with unending upgrades in the 1 inch association, we can truly say that 2022 really is a good year for 1 inch in an unpretentious manner. Thusly the bullish worth gauge of 1 inch in 2022 explicitly is 787 in an especially significant manner. On the other hand, the for the most part regrettable 1 inch expense assumption for 2022 in a real sense is 1174 or so. They in a real sense thought also with the types of progress and upgrades on the 1 inch certainly natural framework, the introduction of 1 inch would truly help with showing up at throughout its continuous all-time sort of high at 586 very soon. Fundamentally, in spite of prevalent thinking notwithstanding, it could similarly especially reach 8 if the monetary supporters by and large acknowledge that 1 inch is a savvy interest in 2022 in a significant manner. Fact 1 in an unpretentious manner, what most certainly is 1 inch amazingly. The 1 inch association joins in every way that really matters. Decentralized shows whose coordinated effort engages the most fulfilling, fastest and shielded exercises in the DeFi space, which sort of is genuinely critical too in a huge manner. Where might you anytime in every way that really matters at some point purchase 1 inch, or so they thought 1 inch has recorded on various crypto exchanges, which especially consolidate Binance Ox Hotcoin around the world. Cointager and Bybit really, in spite of mainstream thinking 3 in a significant manner, will 1 inch essentially come to another AF soon, or so they truly thought. With the consistent new developments and updates inside the 1 inch stage, it explicitly has a fundamentally high possibility showing up at its AF soon in a significant manner for what in a real sense is the continuous all-time sort of high AF of 1 inch in an unobtrusive way. On October 27, 2021, 1 inch sort of shown up at its new all-time all things considered high AF of 865 in a sort of huge way. 5, which in every practical sense is genuinely huge, is 1 inch a shrewd interest in 2022 in a significant manner. 1 inch in a real sense is apparently one of the top procuring cryptographic types of cash this year in an unobtrusive manner. According to the recorded achievements of 1 inch in the past 2 or 3 months, 1 inch for the most part is seen as a shrewd interest in 2022. 6 will 1 inch reach 8 in a significant way. 1 inch especially is one of the dynamic cryptos that continues to stay aware of its bullish state in a kind of huge manner at last. In case this bullish example continues, 1 inch will hit 8 soon in a for the most part huge manner. 7 by and large, in spite of prevalent thinking, what will generally be the 1 inch expense by 2023 in a huge manner. 1 inch cost explicitly should for the most part reach 15 by 2023 in an unobtrusive manner. 8 sort of in opposition to mainstream thinking, what will especially be the 1 inch expense by 2024. 1 inch cost in a real sense should generally reach 24 by 2024. 9 or so they generally thought what will especially be the 1 inch expense by 2025. Genuinely in spite of mainstream thinking, 1 inch cost certainly should sort of reach 32 by 2025, which is genuinely huge. 10 what will really be the 1 inch